So for the third question, how is your experience as a student leader, and what leadership roles did you uphold? And can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
So overall, I think being on the leadership of a team is a very positive and growthful experience. I think that a large kind of lesson that I learned is that it's really important to find confidence in yourself and therefore in the team. And being able to lead confidently is very important for a successful team. And in terms of what roles I had, when I first ran for an e-board position, I was a middler and I ran for secretary, which is a very small role on the e-board kind of leadership roles. And it was cool just to be a part of the other side of the team and seeing the behind the scenes of everything that happens, but it really wasn't that big of a role. And so the next year I ended up running for president, and I could see the major difference of how much more work that was. And I think that just through taking a leadership position, you really get to see the entire behind the scenes process, like I was saying, and you get to kind of give back to the younger kids on the team, which is a really valuable feeling and just experience that when you were younger, you got to just enjoy the fun parts of being an athlete. And now you get to really put in the work to figure out how that even comes to be. So yeah, I think it's a lot of hard work that goes into the roles of leadership, but in the end, it's really worth it. And putting in that time and effort is so worth it for the younger kids. Yeah.
So on the hockey team, I'm the president this year. So my fourth and fifth years at Northeastern, I've been the president, and my third year I was the treasurer on the team. So the treasurer was kind of behind the scenes ledger work, stuff like that. And as the president, it's been a lot more work. I've been pretty busy. So a lot of it's scheduling, talking to other teams, working a lot with club sports. So it's kept me really involved in the hockey team, which has been nice. So I've gotten to know players and coaches a lot better, the club sports office a lot better, and working with a lot of other teams has been nice. And I'm also an assistant captain on the team, so got a little bit of leadership on and off the ice, which I've enjoyed. And it's a great group of guys, so anything I can do to help the team, help the players and coaches, I try to do my best in representing the team on and off the ice.
Yep. So in club volleyball, we have like a leadership team of 4. It's treasurer, secretary, vice president, president. So I held vice president my junior year, and then president my senior year. They were great opportunities. I think it's definitely a lot different when you're showing up and just playing versus when you understand what's going all around in the background and that sort of thing. I think one of the major things that we did on club volleyball is we hired a coach. We didn't have a coach when I started, and we had one by the end, and it made a really big difference, both in wins in our on play, just how we played, as well as our organization as a club.
I think that it was obvious to me from my freshman year on that I had found something in the roller hockey team that I wanted to be a leader in, and that I was going to be involved in throughout my entire career at Northeastern. So I ended up serving as the assistant captain on the team my third year, and captain, president, and head coach of the organization for my junior and senior years. All of which was great experience, getting to learn, for those first 2-3 years from the leaders before me. I was really lucky to have a group of guys that showed me how to do things the right way. We've always been in great standing with club sports, and I think that's largely because we have a legacy of doing things the way they're supposed to be done and keeping everything under wraps and in check. I think being a leader in club sports was a great experience for me, and is definitely something that I like to talk about, in job interviews. It comes up a lot. I'm asked about it a lot. It's extremely valuable experience, and for anybody that has an opportunity to take on a leadership role within their club organization. I know it's a sport, but really the things that you learn do translate and will be very applicable in a lot of walks of life.
I think my experience as a student leader has been pretty good. In terms of water polo, I'm the goalie for the team. So as being a leader within the team, I had that responsibility from almost my freshman year. I've been the captain for the past 3 years. So in terms of the water polo team, I felt like I had a lot of responsibility to at least lead the team in the pool, and when I was outside the pool as well, I'd help lead practice for goalie drills and defense drills. And then outside of the pool, I never was one of the e-board members, but I worked with the e-board a lot, as the other captain was the president. And then with esports, I got involved as the fundraising chair. And so I think that helped me learn a lot more of like the executive board roles and experiences that I've gained so far. I ran the Extra Life campaign. We had a 24-hour stream last year where we earned a couple $1,000s for cancer research. So that was a pretty cool event to like get my hands in, run the whole thing, get like organizational experience. And then this past year, I ran for president and got elected to that. So that was a lot of like, so as fundraising chair, like I saw some of the e-board stuff, but like when you get moved up to president, there's a lot more on your plate. I dealt with the club sports office almost daily. This past winter and spring, I was in Squash Busters like at least 3 times a week talking with Tyler and Nick Avery. Like they were great in helping me with everything. So I think in terms of water polo, a lot of it was in the pool. I gained a lot of like leadership experience that helped me grow and develop as a person. And then when it came to esports, it was a lot more of like the fundamentals of like leadership, and then working that up to becoming the president.
So I was the president of the club, and that comes down to any kind of management on and off the field. Obviously, a lot more off the field, budgeting, instructing people what to do between your e-board, your coaching, working with club sports, working with alumni, kind of just being the point man on any kind of big projects you're trying to do for the club and make sure everything's running smoothly. And I'd say that was generally pretty positive. I really enjoyed doing it. It gave me a ton of great leadership experience and confidence to go out and do things that I'm not previously totally prepared for, but know I can accomplish. The only drawback being it is a huge time commitment, and not that it's anything you really want to do well at, you're going to have to work for. So it's calling it a drawback is kind of a tough thing to say, but it is. I wouldn't recommend it to everyone because it's going to be a large part of your life, for good or for bad.
So for the fourth question, what valuable lessons did you learn as an executive?
Yeah, so I'd say people management and tailoring tasks and goals for people performing them, right? So certain people will be better at certain things, and not pigeonholing certain projects to certain people just because that's their title or because someone wants to do it a certain way or has more passion about it. Just deciding what's going to be best for the club and what's going to make the most sense logistically is definitely something that it was something that it's not a hard concept, but you don't really get good at it until you start doing it. And then the people management side as well is keeping everyone understanding and happy between there's coaches you're managing, there's players, there's club sports, there's alumni, there's a lot of people that you have to manage and try to make sure they understand why you're doing something. And I think that's a pretty tough task at first, but it's rewarding in the same way. As far as other lessons, this had some personal growth and confidence and large project management, right? Like running a club is basically one large project and you have many projects in between. So keeping everything in line and making sure everything's running correctly was something that, I never had that kind of level of responsibility before, and I'm glad that I was able to do it successfully. And just in general, smaller lessons, just budgeting. I know how to do like a budget for myself, but on the scale of with much higher amounts of money and higher amounts of consequences if you screw it up. That was definitely helpful to understand, and I helped learn throughout doing it. And then the importance of delegating, which is something that I'd say I probably only learned right at the end, but you can't putting too much on yourself, and understanding is just not a good long-term solution. Understanding that delegating to some people might not always get the job done as best as you possibly could, but it will in the long run help the overall organization run more smoothly, even if there's some mistakes along the way.
3 executive positions in my 4 years at Northeastern on the club sport. I was treasurer, secretary, and then captain my senior year. And as an executive on the cheer team, at least, I definitely grew personally. I formed strong connections with a lot of the directors in club sports, and then with athletics and marketing and branding department. I had a vision for my team when I became captain my senior year, going into the sport with no coach. I knew that was going to be a big undertaking going into it, but like club sports was working so hard in that, and just working with them was such a great experience. And I just had a vision for my team that I set to enhance our prominence on campus, at least before I graduated. And I was able to gain support through club sports and athletics and everyone else, and basically even more support from our alumni at the end of the day.